working with this guy from New York. Was it New York? New York. And it used to be this spot called The Spot. It was it was in North Charlotte. And it was like this little small, like a little building, right? Real small. And this dude named Neil from New York, he was starting a record label. I think one of my family members on my dad's side linked us. And he was having this showcase. Oh no, let me go back. One of my cousins' name was Woody, and he's passed, but he used to be super connected in the industry. Like, I remember my dad telling me, like, when I first met him, they was actually in the studio, him and the guy Neil, and he was like, "This your cousin Woody?" And my dad was like, "Yeah, my son wanna, get into music." And he was like, "Man, your cousin know everybody." He was like, he could call Eddie Murphy right now if he wanted to. Like, he was plugged in like that. So Neil was like, "All right, cool. We're gonna put you in the studio. I'm starting a label. I want you to work with my son." His son was doing music too, so we just kind of collab. And that was like one of my first, other than working with the Crow's Nest, that was like one of my first real studio sessions where I like made a song. He edited it, mixed it, you know what I'm saying? And I put it out and let people hear it. And soon after, that was like one of my first on stage performances at this little lounge called The Spot. And I had like my family come out, my cousins, I got on stage, performed and all that. And yeah, that was, I want to say it was like 2006, 7. Yeah, that was like my first, that's when I was like, yeah, I'm about to go hard with this.
So how did you get your first break into what they would consider the industry?
That was when, so but still is a label called Let's Ride Records. And they had a link in New York with 106 Park at the time. 106 and Park was doing a showcase to find people to come and perform on their show. And me and my boy Emilio, shout out to Emilio, we went and auditioned and ended up auditioning on the day when one of the producers from New York was actually at the show. And I guess he liked what he saw. He was like, "Yeah, I want y'all to come to New York, perform at 106 and Park for Wild Out Wednesday." And we did that. Went up there and did it once. The first time, we did it twice. The first time, the competition that they was having, we won. So I think that was like what led people, like, that gave people like insight on, oh, I know him. I saw him on TV. Because the first time we went, it was like I had, all my family and friends like waiting for it to come on, like, tune in on this day, turn on BET, I'm gonna be on TV. We did shows prior to going up there. We had flyers. We went on there, performed, and we won. And all the feedback I was getting from, like, I remember like vividly, my phone was like fucking going crazy. Like, my phone was just like nonstop. My phone never did that because I ain't never been on that platform. So I was like, damn, this shit. I couldn't even really keep up with what was going on. We was only in New York for a few days. It was just like happening so fast. And from that point on, that let people know, like, okay, this guy is serious about his music. And when I came back to the city, I remember my homeboys telling me, like, man, this shit was crazy, that was dope. Everybody was cheering for you, everybody was wanting to see you win. And it made the city proud and all this type of stuff. So that was a dope moment. And we ended up going back to do the competition again, but the second time we lost. And at that time, 106 and Park was kind of like dying out. This was like 2011. that shit was kind of like on the decline. So the second time we went, it was like, okay, that's cool, but nah, 106 and Park, like we ain't really watching that. So that kind of, I'm glad I was able to have the opportunity, but I don't want to be like, I don't want nobody to remember anything I did. Like, oh, that's the nigga from TV, or that's the nigga. Like 106 and Park, that shit was cool, but it was like it wasn't really that ain't my style. Like I can do that. Like I can do like the marketable TV stuff. But what I saw and what I grew up, when I was growing up, the things I saw, like that's the stuff I really wanted to get into and talk about, and let people see my experiences with that.